Hello, welcome to another video. It's Rich here, and this video is going to be all about my Subaru Impreza STI Blob Eye 2005. I'm on my way back from a road trip out to Wales. The alarm was set at 4 o'clock. A group of us rendezvoused in a mixture of cars at 5 o'clock, really to get those first early Sunday morning driving in quiet roads, and it's been absolutely fantastic. In fact, up until 9 o'clock, 4 hours of driving, and we never had to overtake a car, which just shows you how few cars we encountered on the first 4 hours. Now we've had coffee, we've had breakfast, the slow drive home, and I wanted to reflect on a few things. 3 myths, I believe, that I read about, hear about all the time around the Imprezas, around the Scoobies, and I just think they're wrong. First of all, when I read forums, when somebody says, look, I'm looking at buying an Impreza, what's people's thoughts and views, and all we get as owners seem to be a lot of negative thoughts. Hugely unreliable, really expensive to run and maintain, blah da blah da blah. I don't get it. I don't get it, because that's not what I've experienced at all. I think if you buy the right car, you buy well, these cars can be affordable. Absolutely. For the type of car it is, 20-year-old, if you're looking at a sort of a second generation, either Bug Eye, Blob Eye or Hawkeye, they're going to be in a region of 20 years old. And mine's done 100,000+ miles, and I bought it with 96 on about 4 years ago. It's on 103 now, so 7,000 miles in 4 years. So I'm probably in the region of about 2,000 a year. So it's not heavy use at all, but it's not a garage queen with over 100,000 miles on the car, and I use it for what it was designed for. I enjoy spirited drives. Serviced largely every year. It had robust service history, and this car in the 4 years has never once let me down. It's needed brakes, pads, tyres, a few bits of the suspension. That's largely it. Cost-wise, a few £100 there, a few £100 here. I mean, even the tyres, because it only rides on 17-inch alloys, are not that expensive. Servicing is largely inexpensive. Bad as it gets is the cam belt every 5 years at probably £600 or £700. But for the performance, for the age, for the mileage, not unreliable at all. It's not what I get, and I think the costs of running this, I think, where this car has largely been, I'll call it, well, I don't think it's lost any value. It's probably not gone up either. So I've had 4 brilliant years, 7,000 brilliant miles of driving. The car has been used hard. It's been up to Scotland, the north and west coast of Scotland, on road trips. It goes into Wales several times every year for hard road trips, and it's absolutely driven as it was intended. And I never see any unreliability. I've got no issues with the car, and yet on the forums all I get is owners that talk about cost of ownership. I mean, even insurance is cheap because of the age of the car. Road tax is largely affordable at, I think it's about £30-something a month. So all this is really affordable. The only consideration on ownership costs is fuel consumption, which, to be fair, isn't great if you're driving it hard, because it will be in the teens. But if you want to be a bit more cautious, you want to be careful. When I went up to Scotland,
I returned about 26 to the gallon, which for a four-wheel drive turbocharged car from 20 years ago is I think got to be acceptable. Yes, if it's your daily car and you're doing high mileage, it's probably not the car for you. But all I hear is about that unreliability, and mine's been, touch wood, bang reliable. It's got that Japanese build quality, and you know what? I just think people have either bought the wrong cars or they're not doing the preventive maintenance, and that's the biggest risk for me. Is people are modifying the cars instead of doing preventative maintenance and spending the money on the wrong areas. Second up is performance. Many people will have read how the Impreza was such a devastating car to get from A to B down a twisty, snarly B road. And it still is. It's a wonderfully intoxicating, raw driver's experience. But pure acceleration, well, it's modest by modern day standards. These are 20-year-old cars that, when standard, came out, the STIs, with 265 horsepower. Many people think they had much more. And unless they were fitted with the PPP, the Pro Drive Performance Pack, which lifted the power to a more modern day respectable 305 brake horsepower, they were adequate but not super fast. But put this in competition with a modern day hot hatch with flappy paddles and a turbocharged engine, those will, in a straight line at least, leave the STI standing. And you could argue that's why many STIs have been modified, given more power, 400, 450, even breaking the 500 brake horsepower club. But for me, that loses something, because this one, my own one with the PPP pack at just over 300 horsepower, it's just the right number. I can accelerate, I can feel it coming on and off boost. It's just the right power on the road to make it hugely enjoyable and not too fast to completely scare you. But if you want pure straight line speed, a standard Impreza isn't the right answer. And the final myth for me is, again, on the forums, when people are talking, they always default to the go JDM. There will be cleaner cars. There'll be no rust issues. And the principle behind that, I agree. In Japan, the climate, no salt on the roads, they will be cleaner cars. But now, 20 years on, that's true. If the car's come in, it's been cared for, it's been undersealed, it's been looked after over the last couple of years. But if that JDM came in 8, 10, 12 years ago, that's not necessarily the case. JDMs that have not been looked after, have been used all winter long, have not been undersealed or properly, not been cared for, could actually have as much rust, if not worse, than type UK cars. So the comment about JDMs are always the cleaner cars, principle might sound right, reality isn't. I'd rather get a well looked after, cared for type UK than a JDM that's been in the country for many, many years and has not been looked after. And it's when you have drives out to mid Wales, to roads like we've been on today, quiet roads, we've hunted them out, we've left really early to find them, and at times it's been wet and persistent drizzle, and the Impreza's in its element there. Wales, wet, rain, slippery roads. There's not another car I'd want to be in. The way it absorbs badly surfaced roads is phenomenal. The on-off boosting of that turbocharged flat 4, the noise is just fabulous from either inside or when you get the chance to see one passing is just phenomenal, or following it actually. The on-off boosting, the way it just finds grip in slippy, wet conditions. And it's at times like this, drives like we've just been on, that I wouldn't be in any other car. The Blob Eye STI, the Gen 2 STI. I don't care for hot hatches with 30-40% more power. They may be quicker, they may be faster. Do I want one? Do I want to change? Not at all. That notchy 6-speed manual gearbox, the sharp but progressive brakes, everything is just, you feel alive. It brings excitement, it brings thrill, it puts your arms in goose pimples. And it's the legend, it's the history of the car, starting right back in the 90s with the rallying and Colin McRae and Richard Burns and Petter Solberg and these great icons of the time. And I just think the mid-2000s, when the Blob Eye came out, not only, and I'm massively biased, but I do think it was the best looking, but it's also, I think it was the phase and period, that mid-noughties. Cars were fast, they were quick, but yet technology hadn't started to remove it and make them too digital, too false, too simulated, too synthetic-like. This is not synthetic, this is a pure analog feel. The steering, it's not precise and direct like you get in the Porsche. It's more hardcore, it's more rough around the edges, but more you push, harder you drive it, more it comes alive. Will the STI, has the STI reached legend status? I don't know. I don't know if it has now, I don't know if it ever will. But of all the cars I drive, of all the cars I own, I never want to let go of this car. It just makes me feel like a driving god. It just makes me excited to be alive. It just gets me out of bed at 4 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And there's not many cars I'd do that for. Rallying legend, road legend, for me, yes it is. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, as always, please thumbs up, subscribe, stay tuned. Other video next week. Thanks for listening. Cheers.